Good morning, everyone. This is Mr. Chamberlain with your tutorial for 11.02 Day 3, and the assignment for this one is 11.RI.04 practice. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll share my screen, and I will jump in on the Nearpod. So to begin with is an open-ended bellwork question, just asking your opinion of figurative, technical, and connotative language. Which do you think is most often used and why? And here you'll actually get a link to your focus notes determining meaning keys. That way you can take a look at what connotative, technical, and figurative language is. And so I'll leave you with the sentence stem here for a little bit. I think the most often used language pattern is, and you can fill it in from there. And of course, if you're more comfortable, you can use the audio recording. I recommend that if you plan to use the sentence stem, that you pause the video here, so that way you can copy that down. And then once you're finished with your answer, don't forget to hit submit. Our objective today is to analyze how figurative, connotative, and technical language refine the main idea by completing a graphic organizer. And our central question is, what is the most essential step in discovering how language refines the main idea? So first off, I just want to thank everybody who turned in their work on time. I appreciate it. It really helps me out. It helps you out. Keep it up, please. And the next thing I want to say is that our practice looked really good the first time. The 11.04 practice 1 looked good, but I can tell there's going to be misconceptions, especially on multiple choice, about which one it is more of, figurative, technical, or connotative. So today we just want to try to isolate which one it is the most of. In your essay writing, include all the ones you see, or in short answers. But in multiple choice, oftentimes it's not going to say it's connotative and figurative or it's connotative and technical. The fact that you guys are seeing it is very impressive, but with multiple choice, you're going to have to narrow your choice down. So that's why we're going to have this poll first, so that way we can look at some of the stuff that's going on there so we can narrow down our choices. And that's also why we have the objective as it is, to analyze which one it's using the most of. And then we have a quick draw it, a graphic organizer, very similar to the one we did before, and then we will close out for the day. So if you're asynchronous, you obviously do not have to use the breakout room, but I still want to check your knowledge here with the poll question, which is, how does the language in the following sentence enhance the main idea? The squirrel that you kill in jest dies in earnest. And you'll remember that this was actually an example for your assignment. Is it that the technical terminology of the natural world makes us feel like we're a part of nature, like the squirrel? Is it B, that the connotative language makes us feel evil and disgusted about those who kill squirrels? Or is it C, the figurative language draws attention to how destructive careless actions can be? So go ahead and select the answer you believe to be the most correct. And the answer is C. And the reason is, one, there's no evidence of any technical language here. So technical, you should have eliminated right away. And then you were between figurative and connotative. And there's definitely some connotative language. Death isn't always an emotional thing. But the author's not exaggerating here or using enough sensory phrases to make it so that connotative is the main one over figurative. And so it is figurative. He's using killing a squirrel to represent a careless action, and just showing that there are real consequences to even those things that we take for granted, especially in the act of destruction. Okay, so for here we are going to Google image the word refine or draw it if you are good. Refine is incredibly important for this particular standard, as we use refine to make things more precise. And that's what I really want to show if I can through these images. I do like the diamond image just because it does go through quite a refinement process. Maybe I'll do that. Yes. Again, remember you can adjust the size and the orientation of the image. And I like this image because this image shows the meaning of refine because, and so I'll leave you with that sentence stem. Again, the question I didn't show or read the full thing is Google image, an image that shows the word refine and then use the text box to explain how your image shows the definition. I don't want to write any more because I don't want to give the answer away, but refine is part of your Quizlet, and it is part of the graphic organizer that you finished or should have finished yesterday in the evening. And again, don't forget to submit. And so our final thing is the practice number 2, and I will fix that so that it says 11. I'll walk through one. If you're async, then I'll start you off with the second one, but you will have to complete it. And then after that, it is independent work. So I have my notes to help me up as well, just because this may be a little bit more rigorous than the last exercise, but there are fewer of them to do. So first, you need to determine the main idea by explaining what the quote means. Then identify whether the highlighted portion of the quote is figurative, technical, or connotative. And finally, explain how you know in complete sentences. And then, I guess, finally, explain how it refines the main idea. So let's look at the first one. If a man does not keep pace with his companions, perhaps it is because he hears a different drummer. Let him step to the music which he hears, however measured or far away. So the main idea here, it's sort of like everyone marches to the beat of their own drummer. Like everyone is different, and we should let them be different. Right? Everybody has a different drummer, and we should let them step, right, march to that music, whatever you're hearing and however you're hearing. Again, looking at my notes, is this a figurative phrase? Is it literal? Or is everybody literally hearing music? No, it's symbolic, so definitely figurative. Is it emotional? Is it exaggerated? Is it really using sensory images? No, so connotative isn't going to be good. Technical, are they using terms that are specific to a field? Maybe drummer, but that by itself isn't enough to justify its technical usage, nor is music. Drummer and music are not enough, at least not enough to override its figurative nature. And so here we are going to definitively state that it is figurative. We know this because he, or the author, I should say, is using the beat of a different drummer to symbolically mean or to represent how each of us chooses to act. And so if the idea that it's different and we should let them be different, by comparing it to a different drummer, how does it refine the main idea? And remember, refine means to make more precise. So it refines the main idea, symbolically showing that each of us may be compelled to act a certain way that no one else may understand. And I use the word compelled here because it means like there's something that drives us to be different that not everybody understands, right? Like we may hear a drum beat that others do not. And that's important, and that's okay. And so, again, we found the main idea by translating the quote. We used our notes to determine if it was figurative, connotative, and technical. How we knew was when we explained that this does have the hallmarks of figurative language, and it did not have the hallmarks of any of the others, except perhaps technical, but not more than figurative. And then to explain the effect, we identified how it refines it. And the refinement process is always going to be like, what is it drawing our attention to? In this case, it's differences, like why we're different, how we're different. The comparison illuminates why we are different from one another. And that's basically what you're doing every time with the refinement process. So here again, I'll get you started. There are moments when all anxiety and stated toil are becalmed in the infinite leisure and repose of nature. So again, I'm looking at my notes. Oh, sorry, nope, not looking at my notes first. First, I just want to come up with the main idea, and that is that like all stress can disappear completely where in nature. So again, now I am going to look at my notes. Is this figurative, connotative, or technical? Looking at figurative, I don't see anything that could not be interpreted literally. So it will not be a figurative term this time. I did see some hyperbole, some exaggeration, right? If we look at this, all anxiety, infinite, never-ending leisure. Those are hyperbolic. Those are exaggerated. Not as much sensory appeal, but definitely some. Just with the idea of the woods. Like if somebody says the woods, you can picture it pretty solidly in your head. You can imagine the scent of trees and the coolness of the weather. So there's some sensory appeal. Technical terms, again, I'm not seeing a whole lot of evidence of anything technical in that quote. So the best answer is going to be connotative. And we should know this because we should either be able to identify exaggeration or sensory, because the author used, I won't give you the answer here, but you can figure it out. The author used all anxiety or infinite leisure. Is that sensory or is that exaggeration? And then how does it refine the meaning? How do these connotative terms, right, anxiety and all anxiety and infinite leisure, how do they make the main idea more precise? And that's where I will leave you guys to continue working independently. Again, if you have questions, please feel free to reach out, and I will be glad to support you. And then the last thing is a quick closing section, a reflection from our essential question. As soon as my Nearpod loads, see, it's not just your guys' computers that have trouble with the Nearpod loading. It is a matching question section. There we go. I'm sorry, it's not matching. It's fill in the blank. It's even easier than I thought. So today our central question was, what is the most essential step in discovering how language refines the main idea? So this just kind of walks through our process. You first identify the blank in order to make the connection between the language patterns and the main idea. If it is blank, it should put you in the mind of the field that it used the technical terms for. So there's your big hint for what the second one is. If it is blank, it is drawing a comparison. So it is focusing our attention on what it is being compared to. That one might be a little bit trickier, but you can use process of elimination. If it is blank, it is drawing our attention to the emotion, the exaggeration, or the senses developed. So you'll be able to figure this out based on those. And then you're done. And that's it, guys. I hope that this was helpful, and if not, that you reach out so we can make sure you're staying on track. I'll catch you later. Bye.